Let's go through project schedule and monetization. In terms of scheduling, it can be very hard to predict a due date for software, and that's a very common question that a developer or development team will ask when you say, hey, can you build XYZ for me? They say, all right, when do you need it by? And they're asking you for that due date. And, sometimes it can be driven by an internal or external event. So, for example, say you're paying for a subscription for something, and that subscription runs out on December 31st, and you're going to lose all your access to the system. You're looking for someone to build, an alternative piece of software to that. Your subscription is running out. You're going to need something for January 1st. So you say, all right, December 31st is my due date. Related to things like budget, you might have a certain amount of money that you need to spend, and it could be different whether it's a side gig of yours to build out the software or your job where you quit your job and you're working on this this software as a startup, and you only have a certain amount of money and it's going to run out by that date. You want to ensure that you have enough money to keep the lights on once the software is created, to start selling it and really monetizing it. So it's important to understand what I have here as, true versus, air quote as I say this, true deadlines, because I hear it a lot where companies or individuals will say, this has to happen by the end of the month, and that's the deadline, and then the end of the month happens and it's not done, and the world doesn't end, right? So want to make sure that you're accounting for, understanding when do you really, need this by, or when would you like it by. If you don't have a true deadline, at least start with a general ballpark in terms of when you want it to be created by, and then you can always adjust that when you start getting into, requirements, and design of the project, which we're going to start talking about in the next module. Make sure you schedule time in there for your monetization plan. Just know that once your software is in a spot where you can sell it, it doesn't mean that people are going to come through the running through the door to buy it on the first day. So sometimes it takes you a month, 2 months, 6 months, whatever, in order to be able to start collecting money for your software. So just make sure you account for that as you're thinking through what budget you have, when is this due, when will the funding run out. And like I said, just identify your desired end date, and that can always be refined later on. In terms of monetization, there are a lot of different strategies when it comes to software development. There's subscription to an application. I'm sure you see this all the time now. Everyone wants that subscription plan, and they have annual billing versus monthly billing, etc. There's also software that you pay a one-time fee for and you can use it forever. So things like Microsoft Office, my favorite example over here. Now you have the Office 365 subscription, which is an annual or monthly cost for you, but there is still the software where you pay a one-time fee for it, and that's yours. You never have to pay another fee unless you upgrade to a later version at a later point in time. You can also have software that's pay per use. So if it's something that is going to save somebody time or money when they run it, you can charge every time they use it. So that way your pricing model becomes pay for the value that you receive. Another popular monetization plan is what's called the freemium model. And what that is you'll give away a portion of the software for free. So, you can use these 5 features of the software. And then if you want to use these other 10, you're going to have to pay either a subscription or a one-time fee, etc., depending on what type of software you have. You can also have sponsored applications. So some of these are ad supported, where it's free software, but ads are being displayed at, either given intervals or when you access, click certain screens or anything like that. And then, that becomes free for the users and you're collecting money in the form of advertising. It could be something that a company sponsors, maybe software it's going to be white labeled, which means that a company's going to pay you money for your software, and they're just going to put their name and their brand associated with it, so it seems like it's coming from them. So these are just many different monetization strategies. Another one is open source, where you're giving not only the software away, but giving the code behind the software, so that way individuals or organizations can improve upon it and push changes through. A lot of times when you have companies that are doing this open source model, they're charging customers for certain customizations, like, hey, you can go and make this customization yourself, or you can pay us to do it. Other times they're charging for support. So in an enterprise type of environment, if you're selling to a business, that business wants to know that if they run into any issues, they can pick up the phone or email you and you will fix the issue for them. So you can also, charge, have the software itself be free, but charge for the